Star Citizen now for 3.15 is the Q3 2021 patch, typically falling between the end of September and middle of October, sometimes to coincide with CitizenCon, which this year is on the 9th of October. We are waiting on the 3.14 patch, but until then, I wanted to talk about what's currently expected in that 3.15 patch, the next major patch after this one, and what's currently planned for that patch, a bit of context with that, what else could make it in, that sort of stuff. CitizenCon this year is a virtual-only event, and it's possible that there will be some in-game things to do and see at the same time as part of that 3.15 branch. And actually, the 3.15 branch covers both CitizenCon and the biggest event of the year, at least financially for Cloud Imperium, the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo, the sort of big ship sale where pretty much everything is available to purchase. Though we could certainly have some 3.15.x patches in between these dates for sure during the cycle. We know that Cloud Imperium have multiple in-game events planned this year, and we should see some of these in all their glory in that 3.15 cycle. Obviously, Intergalactic Aerospace Expo, maybe something with CitizenCon, maybe some more, and there is the potential of some yet unannounced content that Cloud Imperium will want to try and get into this patch. But let's talk about what's actually on the release view currently. So all the features we're going to talk about here are around a 70%, at least 70% I should say, sort of confidence level that they're going to be in here. That does mean around 30% of them could move out. Hopefully none of them will. Hopefully we'll only get more put in here, but we'll have to wait and see. So ships and vehicles wise, the reconcepted Redeemer is expected here. We know it's now a focused gunship, though it might have some modularity coming in the future, potentially allowing it to actually be a dropship again as well. Originally, it was sort of like a hybrid gunship dropship, and then they went, no, it's focused gunship, lots of forward-facing weaponry, and that's what this default, or what the standard model is going to have, lots of powerful, forward-firing weaponry and turrets, pew, 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 pew. It's very much a medium multi-crew ship with multiple players controlling its turrets and systems to use it effectively, and it is a ship of war, although, as I said, modularity in the future should allow you to change this into other roles as well, potentially a dropship there. The Hercules A2 is also here, the bomber gunship variant of the Starlifter that we already have in the game. What do I do with this A2 then? Well, you can use it to get cargo through dangerous areas. It is very, very, very military and combat orientated. It can be an assault craft attacking heavy ground targets while dropping off tanks, like you might be attacking a base or some very heavily defended outposts. Or you can use it as a deadly bomber, dropping a series of Moabs, mother of all bombs, on your targets. Well, anything that's unlucky enough to be underneath you, I suppose, in atmosphere is going to not have a great time. Not really sure how bombs are going to work in space. Maybe they'll be magnetized, maybe they just won't work at all, or maybe there'll be other choices if you want to use it in space to attack like a capital ship or something. But a lot of people are going to be multi-rolling this to sort of just be like a bomber assault ship, so you'll be dropping bombs and then taking troops down to the ground or tanks and stuff like that. Assaulting bases, that's sort of like the way I see the ship being used in the future. And bombs, huh? We don't have them in Star Citizen yet. Well, in 3.15, we should. Players will have the ability to drop powerful bombs over targets in atmosphere from ships, and at least one of those ships will be the A2. However, the A2 for me is a ship that I'd want to buy in-game because it's so ridiculously priced for real money, $700 when it was last on sale, and you can expect it to go up more in price once it's released. There's even more ships as well, the Ares, Ion, and Inferno. These are heavy fighters that effectively are a size 7 weapon that is attached to a ship. That's big. Size 7 weapons are big, and due to the single-seater nature of these ships and the fact that they have massive weapons on them, I expect them to be very popular. The Ion has a size 7 laser cannon and favours shields and a bit more power, and the Inferno has a size 7 ballistic Gatling. Pew 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 pew. No. Brrrr is the correct sound that this gun makes, but it sort of favours heavier armour. I like the differences in these ships. I'm much more of an Ion fan. I think Zin is much more of a Inferno fan, and I think there's a lot of discussion about both and their uses sort of being supported by wings of fighters and that sort of stuff. That this ship is going to be very suitable for flying with a fleet rather than operating solo, although it's going to be pretty good at operating solo as well, as long as you don't get ambushed by light fighters. So yeah, big guns, pew pew pew, ships attached. It's very possible we'll see more vehicles or ships or variants turn up as well, so there's lots of surprise things they do. Oh, surprise, there's new things, and we typically see more ships in the game added to the in-game shops that were released in the previous patch, this time from 3.14, so expect anything that was released at 3.14, like potentially the Constellation Taurus, to be available in shops here, or anything that wasn't released in 3.14 that maybe should have. There is a new feature here as well that will make all these ships run better too, and ones that are currently in-game. Vehicle interior and exterior culling. This has the game engine no longer rendering the interiors and exteriors of ships when they're not required, and this has large performance gains, whether it be with one ship that you're flying and it's highly detailed and you're close because the levels of detail, or you're fighting a whole fleet and there's lots going on. Actually, in fact, it seems odd to me that this wasn't in-game earlier. We needed sort of like some pretty efficient ship interior and sort of portal culling that just doesn't seem to have been done, but there's a lot to do in Star Citizen, admittedly, and you can expect a higher frame rate in the verse because of this, well, hopefully. There's a load of new gameplay features as well. Medical gameplay is now one of the big ticket features for this patch after being pushed back from Alpha 3.14. This is actually made up of a few features. Healing Tier 0 includes all the back-end tasks related to the initial implementation of the healing feature that will be used in future locations and mission updates. So basically, the game will support healing gameplay, and then we've got NPC and third-party healing, enabling players to heal other players and NPCs. This is going to allow players to use items with healing properties, such as med pens, on other player characters and NPCs. So you can jab someone else with a med pen, but you can also use some new medical tools on them. So the multi-tool has a healing attachment module, enabling you to do some basic healing on yourself or someone else. There's also a dedicated medical tool, which will give you deeper details of someone's health and where they've been injured and what sort of like their health is and what you can do to heal them better. And you'll be able to adjust the levels of drugs, at least in the future, on the dedicated medical tool to heal them more appropriately, is the idea. We may have some hospitals and clinics at space stations and some of the landing zones at this stage as well. It depends if they're ready or not. These are locations where you can get healed, where you can buy medical gear, and where you'll respawn when you die. All your healthy needs will be done here. FPS scanning and radar is another pretty important feature. So this allows vehicles and players on foot to use a scanner and ping and radar to find items and targets. This will help with objectives, sort of pathfinding, and general combat, and is pretty similar to ships scanning and radar, but scaled down. Infantry will have detectable signatures in the future that's based on their gear and weapons, as well as their movement and environment as well. I'm not sure what forms of scanners and sort of radar detection we're going to get with this first stage, because they've previously talked about it being sort of audio based, sort of audio and vibration based scanning, but I mean obviously there's IR and EM signatures that they could detect. We'll sort of have to wait and see. Something that's going to add a lot of flesh to missions and actually have some more dedicated gameplay loops with it as well is hacking. So with this first pass, we're getting some locations and missions using it, but they're going to be building it into more and more systems going forward. It's going to be used to access systems and areas that have previously been closed off to the player. The hacking process will be represented via a minigame that we saw some concepts of in a recent Inside Star Citizen. And to me, what we saw from at least the concepts was sort of like an evolution of the pipe or linking games that you would typically see in lots of other games that do hacking or some sort of like access this panel, and you could like do a little pipe system where you flip stuff around or have to connect nodes together, but skinned for Star Citizen. It's not a terrible idea. That's sort of like, it's tried and tested, though we're not going to know exactly what we're getting and what's planned, and if it's a bit more in depth until it's a bit more developed and Cloud Imperium show it off in sort of like a more in-game environment rather than just concepts. We do know that Cloud Imperium have been spending some time making little side areas and engineering zones for landing zones and space stations and stuff. These are areas that I would expect us to be able to break into, probably with the hacking feature. There are personal inventory updates as well. Players will physically store weapons, gadgets, consumables, healing items, and more on their person and in vehicles via backpacks, pockets, and containers. This utilises the new iCache for persistence where the players travel. I also believe that this is going to be the first stage of local inventory, so you'll be able to move items from your character to your vehicles or ships to hangars while in appropriate proximity to them, and potentially even loot body containers as well. So obviously this is a big change. You will have to have the items that you want to use either on you or on your ship, or be able to have them in the hangar that you're nearby to put them onto your ship, that sort of stuff. So that's going to change the way you play by having you think about what you take with you on particular missions, and you'll have to buy some more equipment and stuff that will help stimulate the economy, things like that. But also the potential of being able to loot things and potentially loot other people's local inventories once you've boarded their ship. That's a big thing for piracy for me, and I'm very much looking forward to the potential for that. Now, obviously, there's physical inventory, which is coming later, and there's a load more updates they need to do to the local inventory system and personal inventory systems before we're at a stage where it's finished. But hopefully 3.15 will have quite a lot added and resolved with that feature. Some other potential gameplay as well. Anything that gets pushed back from 3.14 is likely to be here. Anything that's done ahead of schedule and some more minor features likely to sort of turn up 3.15. Stuff gets moved around. We know that some stuff might get delayed in 3.15. Other features might turn up. Something that slipped off the roadmap that could reappear here as well is ship modularity, with the Retaliator suspected to be one of the first ships to get this, allowing the torpedo bays to be swapped for potentially living areas, cargo bays, a dropship module. Is all stuff that we've seen and they've sold in the past. But there might obviously be some other bays that Cloud Imperium have planned. Maybe something allowing it to use bombs, for example. You can expect some combat, economy, and mission tweaks as well. There are various AI updates that Cloud Imperium have been working on too. Something potentially quite exciting is the Infiltrator dynamic event. So we know that they've got the Ninetales lockdown planned at some point in the near future, and the Infiltrator dynamic event as well is one of these events they've got planned for the near future. But I do think the Infiltrator event is probably planned for 3.15, or at least during the cycle, because it sounds like sabotage and espionage or sneaking missions. And we saw something like this actually in the 2019 CitizenCon with the Microtech research heist. But FPS scanning, hacking gameplay, that sounds to me like it would help very much so with something being called Infiltrator. Also, Cloud Imperium have been working on AI and NPC behaviors and trying to get NPCs to function above ground around outposts to be able to defend them, and they've got spawn lockers now and stuff like that. So I'm hoping they get some missions that are appropriate for sort of defending and attacking, assaulting sort of like some of these outposts. That would be absolutely great. And you can expect some new missions, but exactly what, I don't know yet. Hopefully stuff that makes use of those new features. Boom! That's it. That's what I wanted to talk about with Alpha 3.15 today. Something to look forward to once 3.14 has been released. But what do you think? Will some of the features here get pushed back? Well, 30% of them are certainly possibilities to get pushed back. Could we see some additional features? If so, what do you think is most likely? Could we see some surprise ships? Do you think we'll see the Infiltrator event? And if so, what exactly is that going to be? Whatever your thoughts, I'd love to hear from you in the comments below.
Oh, what's this? I just found all your search history online. You filthy boy, buying spaceships and going on Ship Hub. Zin, show a picture of a sexy ship or something. You should have used NordVPN. It's a VPN, obviously, and it has my seal of approval because I shill for them. Use the links below to get a discount and help protect your data, identity, privacy, and to help with online accessibility. I'm shilling for spaceships today. Do you like building spaceships? Of course you do. JR Fabrication make officially licensed Star Citizen products and Airfix-like model kits. Do you want an Arrow fighter? Maybe a Freelancer? Some Cyclone little buggies? Dragonflies? Oh my, you can buy them and build them, or just add them to your pile of shame. You want dioramas of ships and vehicles? They've got them too, and they continue to add more to their range. Follow the link down below to jrfabrication.co.uk/board to see all of the wonderful products they have on offer, and use the code BoredInvictus to also get some exclusive Fleet Week recruitment propaganda A3 art prints with each of your orders. Ooh. Every month we have a ship giveaway, and June is no different. We are giving away a Mercury Star Runner to one lucky viewer that comments on one of my videos made during June on the YouTubes. Just get involved in the comments section, ask a question, or tell me what you think about the video or the subject we were discussing. Thank you so much to my channel members who have pressed the join button below my videos, and my Patreons as well. Going the extra mile really, really helps the channel. Say thanks for helping the channel, Zin.
Thanks for helping the channel, Zin.
Consider becoming a channel member or Patreon as well, and maybe you'll get some poorly photoshopped naughty spaceship shots. Ooh, saucy. Thanks for watching and all your support.